I come from Namon. I'm in a village at the border to Burkina Faso. A village we're looking at a life that began in a place where, let's put it 1977, you will go to school and you will lying there on the ground and you're picking up your classes also lying on the ground. Now you do that and then go up. We didn't have middle school in Namon, so you have to go 8 kilometers every day to school and then come back. So we got it. I remember some days I would come from Namon, get a car to come to Namon, then put my rubber bag on my head and then pass through the bush to go to school so that I'll avoid being seen by my colleagues who were in the car. During this period, we had hunger in Ghana, especially the north of Ghana, and I remember one day I went with my grandfather to stand in the queue to wait for our turn, and shortly before we got to the car, truck which was having the food, distributing the food, they said that the food was finished, but the food was not finished. But they took it away and left us, and my grandfather said, never will we go there. And so for me, there were two things in my mind, that when I grow up and have the opportunity, I will make those who are in need of education to get better education, and I will make sure that no child goes hungry.
At an early age, he had a feel of what a difficult life is. But the struggles, tears, and the sacrifices of his family gave him the zeal to succeed and put smiles on the faces of others who might find themselves in his situation. President of the Reverend College of Applied Sciences, Reverend Father Dr. Moses Asa Awenongya, is our guest on the Untold today. He grew up with an illiterate grandfather who ensured he took his education seriously, even though life wasn't at all rosy for them. His older brother dropped out of school just to make sure he got education to the fullest.
My mother gave birth to 4 of us with very wide gap between us. I grew up with my grandparents, that's why I bear Asa and Awenongya, because Asa is the one I lived with and grew up with. He made me what I am today. We lived a very simple life, living on the farm, working on the farm, and using those proceeds even to be able to take care of my school. Asa, even though he didn't go to school, was a real good educator, and he would tell you, you must go to school. I mean, there was no way that you will not go to school. To say that you want to work on the farm, say no, you must go to school. And it's just even the same way on Sunday, even though he was not a Christian, he would tell you, you must go to church because you chose to go to church, so you must go to church, and after church you work on the farm. Now, it was really tough, really very tough, because you go to school, and for me, school uniform was a burden because I couldn't afford it. My first time of wearing even chalawote was when I got to secondary school. And so you walking barefooted every day in the sun, and whether it's raining or shining. It was tough, but worth living, because you learn how to live with a lot and you learn how to live with little. And so my siblings, my elder brother couldn't even go to school further because he wanted to go to work to be able to take care of me in school. My mother did everything to support me. My grandfather did everything to support me because my grandmother died also very early. And so the question is, what do you do? So you have to help yourself. And it's the reason why I had to work in the diamond mines at age 15. Until I was 18, and then my uncle asked for me and I joined him in Ashaiman, and then from that time on, he then took care of me. These are stories, a story of living in a very simple environment, deprived, I would call it, because you will have people, you can't boast of having classes 5 days in a week, from the same teacher, even in lower primary. As I'm talking now, even many of children in my village are still going through that. It is a contradiction in terms that today I'm a doctor of theology, because I am the only one from my class, or I would say that when I went to Form 1, P1, up to P6, this batch, I am the only one who made it to university. You will go and you can't get 3 square meals a day now, and you still go to school, and you are coming back tired and hungry. You're just praying whether that when you come home you'll be able to get food to eat. Now, can this person still make it? You are with a grandfather who gave everything, you know. He taught me to be who I am today. I remember a beggar coming and he gave him his last, whatever he was wearing, he gave it to him. Okay, now, if he gave him all that he had, it means that there was nothing.
At age 13, Father Moses already had the dream of becoming the governor of the Bank of Ghana with an interesting reason.
I saw the governor of the Bank of Ghana, his signature on the money, and that fascinated me. And so I wanted at all costs to become the governor of the Bank of Ghana, to be able to write on the hearts of people. So I said, look, so what do I have to do? My naivety, I said, look, I have to do business administration. And that was it. And already I started asking questions. So said, oh, at age 13 and you already knew business administration? I said, yes. We're talking and I asked and they said, look, you have to do business. So, okay. So I went on, and when I got to secondary school, I did everything to do business, and then at the end of the day, I had to go to one of the best business schools to do A-levels, advanced level at that time. That was Ahmadiyya Secondary School in Kumasi, and then ended up going to do business administration in University of Ghana. But then, only on the way, when I was then going, that it came that I then asked myself, young man, what do you want to do with your life? Because there was one girl called Beatrice in Ashaiman. She came to me one day and then said, Brother Moses, I want you to give me hope. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, I want you to support me in my education. So then it took me back to my own story, of having nobody to support you. And having simple people like my grandfather, having simple people like my mother, being those who will push you, who will give everything to you. Because I got there one day, I went to my mother and then I said, I have to go back to school. So went in and then brought in everything that she had and told me, my son, sorry, but that's all that I have. I wept and she wept. Now this is the woman whose mother, my grandmother, went to Pongtamale, which is about 200 kilometers away from us, to work, to come and feed us, and died there. And so you have the dreams of a lot of people you have to fulfill. I don't have money. Personally, I don't have money. But I have one thing, my sincerity, my hard work, my honesty, and accountability. But my dreams. Because my motto is, the reality of a better tomorrow begins with a dream today.
Aside dreaming of becoming the central bank governor, Father Moses also wanted to get married by age 29, but it all changed while he was in the university.
Well, I wanted to marry at the age of 29, so initially I had my plans, I already had my 10-year plan. Before completing university, I had my 10-year plan, and one of them was to marry at 29, but it's interesting that, along this line I had to change the plan, but I ended up wanting to get my doctorate at age 40, and I got it. I got it at age 39, a few months before my 40th and birthday, I made it.
Whilst working with the youth in Ashaiman during those days, Dr. Awenongya discovered he wanted to become a father to the fatherless, hence the decision to go to the seminary after school in 1998.
I was working with youth in Ashaiman, and I saw a lot of them who were in need, and they had nobody. So I know my pocket money from my uncle used to give me pocket money, and I would save the pocket money and then use it to support some of these young ones. And I know sometimes I'll just go and say, Daddy, this person is really in need. I mean, what do we do? And he'll give me the money and I'll go and give to the person. And when I started doing business administration, second year, I did attachment with a company in Tema. All the money that I got, I used them to take care of, needy ones in the parish. So the question was, what do you do after university? What do you do after university? And I said, I want to become a father of the fatherless.
He went to Germany for his theological studies upon completion of the seminary, and that is when the journey to set up the Reverend Education Foundation began.
You know, along my pastoral work, I had a contact with a friend. And interestingly, at one point, I got a donation from this friend, and I asked myself, what do I do with the donation? Already I was having 5 young ones that I was taking care of, and that I said, so the 5 ones, you give them the donation, the next 1 year is finished, and so, but what happens? So I decided to found a foundation in Germany with that money. So I asked my superiors and they said, yes, you can do that. And so we founded the foundation now called Stiftung Regentropfen, building some Leben Heights Foundation, Raindrops, Education for Life. So we started that, and the question is, how do you then get things organized in Ghana? So we built the library, and we decided then to just get it to the level of a university college. And so we started to build Regentropfen University College. Now in Ghana, you have to get a foundation on its own, not really, but the university college has to be a limited liability company. But but how do you get there? So we had to find a foundation, and after the foundation, Regentropfen Education Foundation is then used to take care of the university college, Regentropfen College of Applied Sciences. Now, but beyond that is then that we then said, is that enough? Is that all of it? No. So we're supporting at that time 97 children and youth, the whole of Ghana, and we then went on to support more and more, especially orphans. I have orphans and children and youth from social, or not social, but financially weak families. Now, as I'm talking now, we're supporting 270 youth and children, the whole of Ghana, from kindergarten to university. We have one of them being a medical doctor now, and we have some being teachers and others nurses and stuff. It is a joy to see that they are finished, and we still have 270, many of whom are also in the Regentropfen College of Applied Sciences. But beyond that is then the point that we had 2017, one of our beneficiaries could not make it to senior high. What happened? His grades were so miserable, so he didn't get placement. So what do you do with such a person? I said, well, I know that this child is not stupid, but his background, from the rural setting, from the village setting, is what makes the thing quite difficult. Or maybe the teachers didn't encourage him, I don't know. But the point is that he didn't have good grades. I said, we are starting the senior high. So because of this young man, we started the senior high. Now he's in Form 3. He's performing very well. After that, we asked ourselves, what happens? Now the standard of the children coming are not good because maybe the basic educational setting is not good. So we want then to do something. So we decided to start then a basic school. And so starting the basic school, we're then able to now feed the senior high, and the senior high can now feed the college.
Father Moses needs more support from both individuals and organizations to keep the foundation and schools running, as some students at all levels are educated for free, whilst the rest pay next to nothing.
Let's look at the primary school, the basic school, for example. We give them food every day. Now, we're saying that, let's take it that a plate is costing 3 Ghana cedis. They are paying 1 Ghana cedi, and we are paying 2 Ghana cedis, so that they'll have healthy food, nutritious, and it's enough to eat. Young people need to eat a lot. Okay, and they also get water. We have the senior high, and the senior high, 80% of the children there are from the foundation. And so it means the 20% who are there, I would say, pay miserable fees because, again, even those who are in the boarding, we pay about 30% of the feeding for them, and then they pay only 70%. And those who are supported by the foundation, we pay 100%. And so I would say that we are offering more or less free education, from basic to the secondary. Now, and in technical school is also the same thing. You go to the university college, we have 35% of the students on scholarship, in one way or the other. So and then the others are having the most flexible fee-paying system you can have in any university in Ghana. So currently we are living on what is the name, on almost free, because what they are paying cannot run the university. And so it is the best system for everybody, I would say, because you have high standards of education, but it's affordable. And that is the philosophy behind our educational system. They say that quality education must not be expensive education. Yes, you have to pay, because free things are not appreciated. The Stiftung Regentroffen or Regentroffen Education Foundation believes in a solidarity system. And we believe that Ghanaians have to develop Ghana. And so we have to teach our young ones how to give back to society. And so if you complete and you have work, the basic thing that we ask of you is, first of all, think about the foundation that supported you. And so we have somebody, for example, who gives 50 Ghana cedis every month, the base. Another one has even taken a beneficiary and is supporting this girl in our basic school every month. I know one who finished with nursing, and the first salary came and gave it to us, 1,000 Ghana or something like that. He gave to us, as a support. We have others who are saying, look, I am taking care of A, B, C, D, and so because of that, currently I cannot support you, but immediately this is over, I will think of you, and I do. And that is what we are achieving. It's not yet much, and we're expecting that even some Ghanaians, one or the other Ghanaian, will want to say, look, I will give you 10 Ghana cedis every month.
The journey hasn't been all smooth, and he almost gave up when he wanted to register the foundation.
There are a number of times I felt like giving up. Giving up because you especially, sorry to say this, but you're living in a country sometimes where people don't understand why you're doing certain things the way you do them. That somebody, instead of getting the paper through, would rather want you to go extra, to be available to them financially before they will help you to help the poor ones. I call it a spade a spade. That hurts, that kills initiatives. Where even sometimes you are looking for a way of registering your institutions and you don't even know where to start. You have to beg people, go on your knees to be a beggar so that you can really offer help to people in need. You have structures in place, policies in place, you pick them up and you want to help develop them. And people will rather want to milk you, instead of helping you to help those poor ones to come up in society.
He believes giving up shouldn't be an option for anyone.
Any young person who is going through what I have gone through, I can only give one sentence. Don't give up. Trust in God. Trust in yourself. Build network. And know that it is your life. Nobody will live it for you. And so if you give up, you have given up on yourself. And for all we know, there are many admirers who will not say. So if you give up, you are getting other people to also give up.